This is the sound of the sun screaming, making the earth bleed at night like some mechanical ghost on the back of a rural road, driving at unreasonable speeds, whipping back the electrical cords which flow from her head where hair might have been, but never was. And the universe dreams. There's a breaking point in everything. Children race like ants back into the womb as if death could not find them on the threshold of life and still lead them into sunless lands. No matter how good you live your life, no matter all the faded bits of darkness you've gathered, how much you love or are loved, with all of the bills unpaid, the pregnant daughter and the thieving son, all of the stories or music you've ever heard will not matter. You will die. My favorite color is headache white. A gentle pounding rings through our skulls, and all of the world smells of sex and cigarettes. It smells of sound. And of broken nightmares that are lined up on the ledge of the window, and if I take them down, they turn and writhe in my hands like fast-moving paint or a prisoner's cry. I put them back, or throw them in a dark corner with my hopes. Time is a place. And as you reach into the back of your mouth, there's only space and strings and a rabbit's foot. What did you expect? Smiles and cotton candy? They're here. Tied up in a trunk on the top of a caravan being pulled by 11 dead elephants, slobbering and crying as they are whipped about the ears and tail by scarecrows who wear the faces of your ancestors. It is a clear night on a murky highway. Coalesce. But do not show fear and never look them in the eye, because they hate not being understood. As if understanding will naturally lead the way to some sort of salvation. Perhaps the key to salvation is being understood and remembered, but no. Salvation is a 9-letter word that looks terrible on the back of a jacket, unless it is being worn by James Brown because damn, that guy can move. Like the total weight of heaven and hell depends on him cutting a rug, and maybe it does. I believe in fate. It is a sound equation with no room for paradox. It says, if you do not believe in me, it is because this is your fate. And then all three sisters laugh and add another thread. And if ever you should find yourself in that house, do not use their makeup, and never leave the toilet seat up. Because if you do, you had better watch out. It is unending, the fury of the fates. They kiss you whisper thin on the neck and ears, cool and sticky, like the flesh of a dying city. Silky is the face of these ancients, yellowed and brittle at the edges, yes, but pallid and firm everywhere else like sunlight on an orchid's breast. A fragile wind on a sea of deaf lives. The elegant equation. It comes on in the frigid limits where nothing meets, where dying widows come to weep in the lesser wastes of midnight. From a distance it appears as a wavy mix of radiation shrines and supernovas crafted from the silhouettes of bony trees. And as it draws closer it becomes a metal train, conducted by the fetuses of wolves and of birds. They believe in the promise of a better tomorrow, and they believe in the words of their fathers. They dream of spiritual bliss and of fiery war. They dream of the soft places in between the waking world and the others. The lights from our crowns sputter and spill into the atmosphere and then are no more. Lovers locked in arms march the streets to speakeasies and to bedrooms. The old folks dance in the doorways as clouds open up and clothe them in the tantrums of rain and pain, and insane laughter calls through the chill of unending delight. The Lord Buddha signs your paycheck, pats your back when you vomit, shoves you out the door when you've had enough, and you, my friend, have had enough. Then he helps you into your coat, sending you back onto the path of disjointed harmonics, lurching from concept to concept in radical purpose. The change is subtle like an enemy's stare. It becomes a digital showcase, protected on the great and grainy backs of dead giants and on parchment paper made from the skin of dead gods. The words written here are the efforts of 12 mad glass fish under no guidance and no restraint. These are the stories that were never written, about places that were never visited. Scrawled here are the prophecies from the backwaters of the brain, the foggy marshes that no one pulls to anymore, where light and shadow gain mass and click at you in the language of angels and in the tongue of devils. This is the sound of the sun screaming, much easier to hear now. A siren song gaining momentum by the millisecond. All of our ships are in thrall and crashing. The lyrics lyrics of the ages are carved into tiny patterns on the floor and tattooed beneath the flesh. Meanwhile, tomorrow and yesterday eclipse today. A gentle storm is being born in the forest of the damned. Later it will become a king drunk on the blood of the guilty, freshly wrung by its maiden's hand. The mood here is getting dangerous. Bewildered cries pour from the forest. Our river of tears has dried up and everyone is left thirsting. The time has come to move on. We wind our way through some dark cafe like a November chill on a September night. And snapping at our bare heels is a beast who guards the gate at the well of the worlds. And deep inside its starry gut crashes the wave of a ragtime epiphany and uncertain acts of ambiguous duality. True sailing never died. Instead it burrowed into the salty crevices of our mind and spirits, brains and hearts, until sweet bloody spring, and my God, the ice is melting.